but I'm happy to be here. So I usually write about mixed martial arts, which is a sport where people just violently inflict damage on each other, and I find that to be a very pure distillation of life. So I kind of wrote about my experience viewing an event, a mixed martial arts event, and then how that corresponded with my life personally, living in Korea. So the title is called The Main Event. Main card fight number 3. Either a moth or a slip of paper flutters in the spotlight above the cage. Figuring this out is by far the most interesting part of the fight. The fighters beneath the moth/paper obstruct my ability to solve the mystery, as if I need another reason to begrudge them. The action, if you can call it that with a straight face, is functionally no different than choreographed shadow boxing. The two men mirror each other like two skittish puppies, prancing ever so slightly into range, then hurriedly dashing out again. They might as well be exchanging butterfly kisses. Their so-called strikes are almost exactly as damaging as eyelash tickles. I cross my fingers and hope that they somehow knock each other out at the same time. It's the end all parties deserve. The Korean fighter who walked out to Bon Jovi's It's My Life realizes it is our lives he is wasting, and at the end of the 3rd round mercifully smashes his fellow Korean into the mat with ground and pound, preventing me from pounding my head into the ground and sparing us another god-awful 90 seconds of twinkle-toed pugilism. On his way out, the winner bows repeatedly to the audience in all directions. At least he knows when he needs to apologize. Birth and death are obverse sides of the same coin. You leave the only world you know, alone, usually to the sounds of someone crying nearby. Life then is the grand distinguisher, the invigorating in-between that gives those criers reasons to wail, and those lonesome acts of birth and death a sense of meaning. And yet, we have done an exceptional job at putting what matters in long quarantines. Modern life has been whittled down to birth, school, work, death. Daily monotony knows no culture and obeys no borders. When I talk to friends back home, they tend to think I'm off on some big adventure, looking the future in the eye, facing the horizon with my right knee perched atop a mountain, pointing my finger defiantly outward and piercing the unknowable expanse of destiny. In reality, Monday through Friday, I wake up, make coffee, walk the dog, shower, go to work, go home, eat dinner, watch TV, drink tea, go to bed. Saturday, wake up, make coffee, go to work, go home, take a nap, wake up, walk the dog, eat dinner, watch TV, drink tea, go to bed. Sunday, my one day off. I wake up, watch people punch each other in the UFC, walk the dog, take a nap, go out to dinner with my fiance, watch a movie, or read while I drink my tea, then go to bed. Multiplied by 130, my life in Korea. Do I have time to read one more? I don't want to.
Yeah, go ahead.
One more, sorry. It bounces between different fights. So this is the main card fight number 6, the co-main event. Heavyweight fight between a Korean guy with a sumo braid and a guy from Guam draped in the flag of his homeland. Guam flag makes his way to the cage and his walkout song skips to the next track. It restarts as the cage door closes. The announcer introduces the fight as 3 4-minute rounds, ending a 4-fight streak of saying the correct numbers. It's a slow, plodding match, spent mostly in clinch pirouettes with both men taking turns pushing each other against the fence. The first round ends and they're both exhausted. So is the crowd. These minutes aren't normal minutes. It's as if, like a black hole, the sheer mass of the men has distorted time itself. When the second round starts, it feels like it should be the last. Guam flag starts to take over, sort of. He presses sumo braid against the fence and unleashes a barrage of hammer fists to the thighs. Somehow, a small cut opens on the face of Guam flag and the action stops. The crowd leaks a collective groan as the medical staff examines the cut to see if Guam flag is fit to continue. He is, unfortunately, and the fight resumes. Everything is in slow motion. I no longer know what minute of what round it is. The two men take turns pushing up against one another on the fence over and over, with only the occasional punch to sumo braid's thighs to let us know that time is still moving forward. It's an awful fight, but for some reason it sucks my undivided attention and I can't stop watching. With heavy steps and heavier breaths, the bout limps to the final bell. Sumo braid can barely hold himself up after the Big Brother-style Charlie horses his thighs endured. For a fight announced as 3 4-minute rounds, it felt like 10 20-minute rounds. At least there was a clear winner, I think. Majority draw! The announcer raises both of their arms at the same time. The fights took place on September 11th. I tend to think of 9/11 as the moment that thrust me into a consciousness higher than my childhood's, when I realized that events going on in the world were real. I was 13. This night was the 15th anniversary of 9/11, yet I completely forgot about it. It was just the night of the fights. It's easy and comforting to forget that the rest of the world continues without you. There is simply too much going on to keep up with, and we're bombarded by so much information that it is tempting to just forget about it all and focus on ourselves. It's like that anywhere, but especially out here when you're isolated from everyone and everything you know. The catch is that the world does keep spinning, regardless of your consent or awareness. I often forget that I've been living in Korea for 3 years. In that time, friends and family members have married, moved across the country, changed careers, had kids, continued on with their lives, and I've been gone for almost all of it. What should have been my memories and my experiences have been stolen from me while I was busy going through the same old rounds I always do. I feel stuck, spinning in circles on the same plateau, telling myself I'm actually moving forward. Only when I come up for air and see the world outside of myself do I realize how long I've been here and how little I have to show for it. I forget that I, or anything for that matter, exist outside the walls of my classroom in my apartment. Everything else feels interstitial. The rest of the world happens at a sanitized distance. Time moves slowly, then all of a sudden it's 3 years later, and nothing has changed except everything else.